Good afternoon, buongiorno, bonjour, ni hao, buenos dias, brevet, and privet. This is Tom Mullen of Vino Voices, American in Bordeaux, and thank you for coming to the 7th live stream. We have 3 wines lined up today. This is the 7th live stream. 5 of them have been French wines, 1 has been Armenian wine. Today we're going to do Italian wines, but Italian wines from one region called Abruzzo, okay? So the general layout will be I'll talk for about 10 or 12 minutes, and then we're going to interview a very charming wine producer called Valentina Di Camillo from Abruzzo, okay? So welcome for coming, and thank you for being here. And let me bring you immediately into Abruzzo in Italy. I'll give you a little verbal tour. If you go down, Italy has 20 provinces, and if you go down to about the center of Italy, to a little to the south, you get to Rome, the city of Rome. And if you go beeline Rome to the east on a beautiful highway for 2 hours, you will move from the Tyrrhenian Sea, basically, to the Adriatic Sea. And that's where Abruzzo is. About 2/3 of that journey will be in Abruzzo. It's a large province. It's about 4,000 square miles, 10,000 square kilometers. It's about half the size of the state of New Jersey, about half the size of the country of Wales, and it's about the size of the county of Los Angeles in the United States. So now you have a general overview of the size of Abruzzo, one of the regions of Italy. And it's very mountainous, okay? The Apennines are the spine of Italy. They are the backbone that runs across Italy, and they cruise right through Abruzzo. So when you do the drive from Rome to Pescara, it is beautiful. You have these limestone escarpments, sandstone escarpments, little villages, huge rolling hills. You're up in the mountains at almost 10,000 feet. It is splendorous. It's an amazing place to go to. And it's not very well discovered yet. So let's see, what does it have? About a third of the territory of Abruzzo, or half of it, is national park. So you have golden eagles, you have Apennine wolves, you have brown bears. When you go to the coastline, the water is clear and beautiful. And you have these old fishing structures built in the water of wood, no longer used for fishing. I think maybe one of them is. And they've been made into restaurants. They're called trabocchi. So the Trabocchi coast, you drive along a beautiful coast, have an amazing dinner out on the water, literally on the water, drinking some great Abruzzo wine and having some local anchovies and seafood. It's fantastic. So it has a population of about 1.5 million, Abruzzo, about 2% of the population of Italy, all right? And we're going to speak about the wines there tonight. And the wines that we're going to speak about are the ones that are classified, okay? So you have the DOC system, similar to the AOC system in France. DOC is a level of classification, denominazione origine controllata. Whereas DOCG, which is a level higher, denominazione origine controllata e garantita, okay? So Abruzzo has 5 DOC and 1 DOCG wine, all right? And the DOCs are, basically there's Abruzzo DOC, Montepulciano d'Abruzzo, that's the red grape, very important, we'll talk about that more. Trebbiano d'Abruzzo, which is basically the same as Ugni Blanc, which we make cognac from. That's the white grape. Cerasuolo d'Abruzzo, which is named after the cherry color of this rosé. And that's also made from Montepulciano d'Abruzzo. And then you have a few others. You have the DOCG, I think, is Montepulciano d'Abruzzo Colline Termamane, okay? And so we're going to look at what those wines, how did they go from being obscure decades ago to being hot topics these days, and what is so attractive about visiting Abruzzo, okay? So most of history, I mean, they've been making wine since the time of Romans, all right? Most of history, they shipped these grapes and this juice to other provinces, you know, whether it was Emilia-Romagna or Tuscany, and they blended it in. And even today, 80% of the juice, 80% of the wine is through cooperatives. And I have gone to these cooperatives and I've tasted their top level wines, and some of them are excellent, really, really well-made wines. 80% of them Most of the holdings are small family holdings, 2.5 hectares, 6 acres, and they donate their grapes and they get paid for that. But about 30 years ago, winemakers decided that instead of sell to the cooperative, let's go and do our own thing. And a key person here was a fellow called Gianni Masciarelli. And Gianni Masciarelli studied economics, and he dropped out, and he buzzed all over the province of Abruzzo, very mountainous, and the coastal area, and he checked out all the different types of Montepulciano d'Abruzzo. And he experimented with that and Trebbiano to find out what would make these wines the best they could be. And he was successful because his wines were nominated by Wine Spectator is one of the top 100 wines of the world many years ago. Unfortunately, he died in his early 50s, but his wife, Mariam, took over the estate together with Marina, the daughter, and they're doing a fantastic job over at Castello di Semivicoli. I visited there, fantastic. Been to Abruzzo 3 times, and I love it. It reminds me sort of Malibu, California, 50 years ago. Although I wasn't there 50 years ago, they have similarities. First of all, you have huge mountains coming right to the coast. Beautiful coastline, and both of them were founded on fishing, okay? And also 50, 60 years ago, Malibu. Now people in Los Angeles were like, why would you go out to that swamp? No way, don't go out there. And today, Abruzzo is not very well discovered, but it's a jewel, and I love going there. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the Montepulciano d'Abruzzo. First of all, this. If you have been to Tuscany, and you've had the wine called Vino Nobile di Montepulciano, the noble wine of Montepulciano, that is named after the village of Montepulciano, ancient towers, cobbled streets. But that grape is a clone of Sangiovese. So Vino Nobile di Montepulciano has nothing to do with Montepulciano d'Abruzzo, the grape, okay? Very important distinction that needs to be made. All right, so the Montepulciano d'Abruzzo grape, basically deep color, a little bit slight mild tannins. It's dry and a little spicy, okay? So what did Gianni Masciarelli do to improve the wines of Abruzzo? Well, let me tell you. He found out that Abruzzo goes to 9,800 feet high, 2,900 meters. He found out if you get the right elevation, the right terroir, and because of the diurnal variation, and that is the hottest temperature of the day and the coldest temperature at night. And in the summer, the difference can be 20 degrees Celsius or 35 degrees Fahrenheit. That's a huge difference. And so the heat of the day builds the alcohol, the coolness of the night builds the acidity, okay? So Gianni Masciarelli found out that if you got the right elevation for Montepulciano d'Abruzzo, you could get a nice marriage between acidity and structure and get rid of the jamminess, which is found in Montepulciano throughout the rest of Italy. So, well done. The next thing he decided was, how do we take care of Trebbiano, Uni Blanc, Trebbiano d'Abruzzo? Well, what he did is he planted the grapes very, very tightly, very densely, and there was a lot of competition. Because there was competition, there were fewer clusters. And because there were fewer clusters, they had a more intense flavor. So after he experimented around for decades, Masciarelli had found ways of making some really signature vintages from Abruzzo. And now you have many other winemakers who are doing the same. And we're going to speak to one quite soon. What other grapes are going there? Someone asked. Do they make any other grapes that are non-appellation? Oh yes, they have white grapes. They have Passerina, Pecorino. We have Faina. We have Cococciolo. We have Montonico and Chardonnay. And for reds, we have Sangiovese, Cabernet Sauvignon, and Merlot. So there are plenty of grapes there, plenty of room for experimentation. So soon we're going to talk to Valentina Di Camillo. But I do want to say this. One of the times I was invited, I visited Abruzzo and I wrote about this text system, which I'll tell you about. And as a result, the consortio of Abruzzo got in touch with me and they wanted to present me an award for my writing. which I'm very proud of. So I have to show this off. I can't do it very often in life, which is backwards, but it basically says Parolo, Vino, words and wine. And it's made of ceramics. Beautiful award. So thank you to the Consorzio of Abruzzo. Now, one of the things that, when we speak to Valentina, she worked with 18 members of the Consorzio of Abruzzo, and they had a big problem. And here's the problem. How do they get visitors to their unknown region? Because they had three problems. Number one, the winemakers are too busy making wine. Number two, the Consorzio could not recommend any one or two wineries, because to do so and ignore the others would be biased. And number three, the visitors got lost driving around all these mountain and coastal roads. So what they did is they hired a young fellow who made this amazing app. Amazing. And I've checked it out. They have 10 different routes. You pick what you want. Do you want mountains? Do you want coastal? Do you want culture and history? Do you want archaeology? You pick a route, and it's an all-day route with all these different waypoints. And if you want, you can just select a few of those waypoints and make it just an hour or a half a day, whatever you like. And any point, you tap on the information of where you're going, and it tells you everything. And at any point, you say, I really want a glass of wine. You tap on it, and it says, would you like a winery or a restaurant? And would you like that to be located within 5, 10, 15, 20 kilometer mile radius? And you tap it, and it lists all the wineries. Then you press the button, and GPS, boom, it brings you there. Phenomenal work. Well done. So now I'm going to try to, I'll give a little recognition for the people who are here, and then I'm going to find, I see Penny. Hello, Penny. Lori, nice to see you here. Clarissa and Les, nice to have you guys here. Valentina, okay, Valentina. Jane is my literary agent from New York. Jane, I'm going to interview Valentina, and she provided one of the recipes, fish soup, for my cookbook, okay? Rupal, nice to have you here. Rupal has an amazing, she's the Syrah Queen, amazing following and amazing site. So if you want to follow a good woman blogger and Instagrammer, Rupal Shankar on Syrah Queen. David Crowley, we both went to Abruzzo together. Cooking, chat, wine, fantastic. Laurie Kilmountain, Mel, and Mario Fantoni. Maria, buongiorno, come stai? Spero che tutto va bene. Io sono molto contento. I'm very happy you're here. And I know you don't speak much English, but I don't speak much Italian anyway. So we have Heather, the winemaker in Napa, and Gaia. Gaia is Bordeaux. She is a PR agent extraordinaire. You need any PR in sports or wine, let me know. Michael Fagan, nice to have you here. Michael, we met in Abruzzo together. Sue Cobb, fantastic Sue, and mother of Heather. She did a great job raising Heather, I'll tell you that. Okay, so now I'm going to put on Valentina. All right. Okay. So, hopefully. Okay. Connecting. Valentina.
Hi.
Oh, ciao.
Ciao.
Come stai, Valentina? Buongiorno.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno. Come stai? Tutto va bene? No.
Bene.
Okay. Good. Me too. Sono contento. Sono stanco di lockdown.
No.
Non c'è male, ma così. Okay, so charming Valentina. I've known her for 5 years. We met at Vinexpo in Bordeaux, and
Yeah.
I've been to Abruzzo 3 times, and twice I met you there also. And Valentina, her family winery is called Tenuta I Fauri. I shall show you the information because we're going to taste their wine today. So here is the logo, which is beautiful, isn't it? Wow. And the first wine we're going to taste is Baldo Vino, and that's a Trebbiano d'Abruzzo. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Great.
So maybe, in France you call a winery a chateau, or you call it a clos, but in your region of Italy you call it a tenuta.
Yes.
Maybe you can explain what I Fauri means, or is that historical?
We discovered, we rebought a piece of land, a plot of land from my auntie, and because we want to replace a vineyard, we just moved the ground and the land, and we discover a piece of stone,
Okay.
different pieces of stone from a monastery.
Okay.
The ancient Romans, and
Oh, Roman monastery. Wow.
yeah, and we discovered that in that place, called you know, old monks. No, I can't remember the name in English, but it's kind
But
of.
it's okay. So it was named after the Roman stone, the monastery.
Yeah, it's like a congregation of
Oh,
priests,
okay.
like priests,
Okay.
named I Fauri. So that's why the name of the state, because my surname is Di Camillo, but it's the
Yeah.
same of another wine producers. So we
Okay.
didn't want, consumers get confused between us and the
Ah,
other. So because we rediscovered these, stones, we decided to, give this name to the company. So it's a congregation of monks and priests.
fantastic. So it's holy ground.
Yeah.
And we're going to have some holy wine. I'm going to pour a glass of Trebbiano. And while I do, maybe you can tell us a little bit about the size of your winery. I know your website is wonderful because it says we have a winery that is supposed to be used and not photographed. It's great.
Yes.
Okay. So here we go once again.
Yes, Tenuta I Fauri.
Vino. Tenuta I Fauri.
Yeah, Vino is the nickname of my family.
Okay.
And originally, it was my great-great-grandfather's first name. We are in the south part of the region, in the Chieti province.
That's right.
And we have in one side the Mayella Mountain and the other side the ocean, so the Adriatic Sea. It's my family business. We have 30 hectares of vineyards.
30 hectares.
Yeah.
So that's 75 acres.
Yeah, 6 different villages in between, the mountainous sides and the seaside. And it's me, my brother now, and we've been making wines into this area since generation. But my grandfather used to bring the fruits to the cooperative. So, because this is, a very famous area for cooperatives and family wineries. Actually, it was my father to, turn the farm and to rebuild the winery, the cellar.
Yeah.
We are gonna taste the classical line from indigenous varieties, so Trebbiano and Montepulciano.
Because you produce 7 wines, 9 because 2 of them are sparkling, correct?
Yeah.
But today we're tasting the Vino line. So we have a white, a rosé, Cerasuolo, and then a red. So I'm tasting this Trebbiano, and on the nose it's flint and mint, and in the mouth it's like sparking. It's great. I'm loving it.
Yeah, this is a kind of.
Your twirl method is better than mine. I have to tell you that.
This is a kind of premier tasting because it's 2019 and we're going to release the vintage, this new vintage in the market soon.
Okay.
So it's not available at the moment.
Okay.
But first of all, I want to underline the central role of the concrete tanks.
Okay.
The vinification of all those wines.
Okay.
We inherited the 14 concrete tanks size from 25 to 1,000 hectoliter from my grandfather.
Okay.
We renovated them with new resin inside, and so we use concrete for all the wines.
Fantastic.
Yeah, because it's, in my opinion, my brother opinion, it's the more authentic way to vinify our local grapes. It's just in between, the stainless steel and the oak. It's a very good alternative to large barrels because it doesn't affect, the flavor with oak. So
Right.
it's the best way to emphasize the characters of the wines. And
Okay,
this
it's very, very clean.
yeah,
Very
very
clean.
clean, very so at the beginning when it's young, for example, the Trebbiano when it's young, it's very severe. It's not very fruity. It's very flowery, very delicate, but big personality, very good structure, and I believe that all the wines from Abruzzo area, they have a very great aging potential.
Okay, very
So you
important.
can appreciate it when it's young because the concrete buds uh, allows the wines to help to open up a little bit the bouquet, but not too much. So
Okay,
at the same time, the concrete preserve the wine from oxidation.
okay, that's interesting. Interesting in that it's some wineries in Abruzzo. I noticed they use large Slavonian casks.
Yeah.
Not Slovenia. Slovenia is the country. Slavonia is the region from Croatia where they get the wood. And also, some of them were using acacia wood from Spain. A little astringent. They could only use it for a small amount, but they're experimenting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So, shall we go on to the Cerasuolo? I have to
Yes.
tell you a quick story. Yesterday I watched a live stream with Lamberto Frescobaldi. You know the Frescobaldi family. They were back in the days of Henry VIII. They were actually loaning him money, so they've been doing business a long time, and they're very famous for making wine. And yesterday he gave an interview on a live stream with his enologist like this on Instagram, and he was just a gentleman, beautifully suited, and amazing character. But he drank his wine and he swallowed it, and he said, "For professional tasting, we spit, but these are difficult times during confinement, so no spitting." So I think today I may follow his lead.
Yes, we cannot waste the wine at this
So
moment.
Cerasuolo, I think Cerasuolo means cherry red. Is that correct?
Yeah, cerasa in Italian means cherry, so it's another name for ciliegia. So it's a cherry colored wine, and I shouldn't say so, but this is my favorite wine.
Your favorite?
Yeah, my favorite.
Okay.
My baby.
And it's made out of Montepulciano d'Abruzzo. Look at that color.
Yeah, it's a really deep pink color. It's a
Yeah.
it's not light. It's more
Beautiful. Yeah.
ruby. It's made of Montepulciano grape, so
Okay.
it's the same grape variety of reds, 100%. And for this one, we just leave a few hours the skins in contact with the must.
Okay.
And then the fermentation begins without skins. So, few hours for this beautiful color.
Oh, beautiful. So for those of you who have just joined us, I just want to tell you this is Tom Mullen, Vino Voices. I'm speaking with Valentina Di Camillo of Tenuta I Fauri in Abruzzo. The wine they make is very, very reasonably priced, and it's an excellent wine. I've been trying it for years. And also, they are really leading the way for Abruzzo in selling things online. So if you're interested in this wine, go to their site, and immediately they have the ways of buying it online. Let me just see who else is here. And you want to tell us a little bit more about this Cerasuolo?
Yeah, it's it has a very big structure because we talk about the Montepulciano grape. So it's not just table one, but it's more than that. And it goes perfectly with everything, with any kind of food. And this is the one we used to drink at home, every day because it matches perfectly with pasta, with meat, with fish soup you mentioned before. I like it because it's strong enough to face, a very structured food, but at the same time it's fresh. So, in my opinion, this is the perfect sum of my region. It's strong like the mountain, but at the same time this wine reminds me of the freshness and the breeze from the ocean. It's a little bit sweet at the beginning, but it has a slightly bitter aftertaste at the end. So this is, wow.
Right, I think I saw the tasting notes from your brother Luigi, a little bit of an almond aftertaste. Huh?
Yeah.
Beautifully balanced acidity. Oh my goodness. And do you sell your wines in the United States?
Yes.
Whereabouts?
In New York and Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, and we're going to start on the other side, maybe. I hope soon, as soon as possible.
Okay, so I see that some other people have joined us. I see Catherine has joined us and Letitia. Welcome, guys. Nice to have you. Matteo. Also, we have our friends from Quadra Labrie in San Emilion. Most welcome, everyone. And Monica, nice to have you. Anna Maria. Anyway, everyone, it's good to have you. So, do you sell it in Chicago? My friend Melanie asks.
Not yet.
Okay, so there's an opportunity.
I've been to Chicago once.
Oh yeah? Did you like it?
But the wind was crazy.
Yeah, Windy City. That's where I was. I grew up near there, in the countryside. Okay, Valentina. Now we're going to go to the red, Montepulciano d'Abruzzo, the classic. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. This is the Vino wine from Tenuta I Fauri. I know the label's backward, so it's Montepulciano d'Abruzzo. That is the grape. Tell us about the general characteristics of Montepulciano d'Abruzzo.
Yeah, the Montepulciano is the king of the region.
The king, okay.
Yeah, it's a big boy. I mean, even if this is the entry level, this is 13.5% in alcohol, and it's big personality, big structure. It's very dry, tannins, very powerful. But to be honest, this is a very, very challenging vintage, 2018.
Okay.
Because the weather is, it's like,
okay.
At the beginning.
A little schizotic.
At the end it was not very good because of the rains and the temperature dropped down very quickly. But I prefer this kind of vintage because
the challenge.
Yeah. So,
I mean, cherry bomb on the nose is amazing, beautiful.
Yeah, it's very clean fruit. The acidity is fantastic, and this once again in concrete, just concrete, no oak, no even nothing, just concrete. We wanna emphasize the variety.
Oh, not pouring this away. This is a beauty. So Valentina, Montepulciano d'Abruzzo. Okay, so you make the most quantity of which wine? Which grape do you use most?
The Montepulciano for sure.
Okay.
But the production at the moment is 50% white and 50% red.
Okay.
In the past, we used to vinify 80% of Montepulciano, and that was, but not now. So we are changing a lot the everything in the winery.
Okay. Well, I see your new labels. Also, I've had your Pecorino.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. And also the label Pecorino, you do the trabucchi, the ancient fishing sack. It's absolutely beautiful. So the wines are fantastic. Buy them online also. And your rest house, have you built that yet?
Yes, we just
did. So people can stay if they visit.
Yeah.
With a very genuine, good family. Okay. So I think that's our 30 minutes is up. We'll talk a little bit more, but tell us a little bit more about the Montepulciano while I just start drinking it because it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, tell me. Here's the question: is How did the 2019 vintage work? How was that in Abruzzo?
Yeah, it was good. It was good because it was not so hot and not so cold, so it was really well balanced vintage.
Okay.
We're going to release the Pecorino in a couple months, and
Great.
next year in May we're going to release the Montepulciano. But maybe we miss to tell the wine lovers that the growing system for all those wines is the tendone, the pergola. It's a specific system in the central part of Italy. It's higher than the normal system, and the leaves on the top, just protect the branches and the fruit from the sun when the season is too hot. But at the same time, there is a very great ventilation if it rains a lot. So, it's a system that in the past it was used to produce a lot, very, very, big
quantity.
But if you manage it properly, so if you prune in a proper way the quality in this specific area from the pergola is fantastic.
So the pergola system, you raise it about 6 feet high, but also that's good because you have a lot of breezes in Abruzzo. And the reason is because the ocean heats up, and at night the temperature differential creates all these breezes. And so the pergola system actually allows the air to flow through, dry out the wines, and get rid of fungus and that sort of sickness. Is that correct?
Yeah, the combination is perfect, and it's a very special combination between the breeze and the wind from the mountains, and the only way you can pick up the bunches is hand-picked. So we can't use machine at all. So the first strict selection of bunches is in the vineyards before the cellar. So this is something unique because if you come over, you can see these beautiful slopes, very sweet slopes, covered by vineyards all over. The Chieti is one of the most important provinces in terms of production in Italy.
Yes.
And you can see all over kind of carpets because you can see the leaves, and especially in autumn when the color changes, it's wonderful. It's it's
like a tapestry. That's what I hear.
It's hundreds of shades, yellow colors because of white grapes, and red colors, and orange because of red grapes. So wow, it's something you have to see. I mean, but,
I know. Listen, I just want to say before we wrap up, I've been to Abruzzo 3 times. I love it. It's so beautiful, and it is undiscovered. And you have fantastic villages, whether it's the Castello at Ortona, whether you have the Trabocchi along the coast and the restaurants. And it's the people are very, very gentle. They haven't been disturbed by tourists. I wrote an article, and let me read a quote I wrote in this article. I wrote, less trammeled by tourists than Tuscany, and with fewer buses than Barolo, Abruzzo also sells food and wine at prices that won't shock you as in Venice. Okay? So it's a great place to visit. Your wines are fantastic. People are asking where to get it. Just send me a text, or go to Tenuta I Fauri, Tenuta, then separate word I, separate word Fauri, Fauri. Tenuta I Fauri online, and you can buy it online, and also get it in the States. So, grazie mille, Valentina.
Grazie a te.
Ci vediamo la prossima vez. Okay, so enjoy. So, ci vediamo presto, dopo the lockdown. Okay?
Dopo the lockdown.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
All right,
Bye.
thank you, everyone, for tuning in.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.